We're getting solar panels on our roof, and I thought I'd make a little video to show kind of how it's installed. So the first step is they came up on the roof. I guess they marked everything out. I don't know if you can see kind of the yellow chalk lines of where things are going to go. And then they put in these little black bracket pads that are tucked underneath a shingle, so the overlapping shingles let the water run off without getting the wood roof under, the underlying roof wet. So they put in all of these little black brackets every, I don't know, 6 feet or so, and then attached to those brackets this little angle piece, and then this track. These tracks are what's going to hold the solar cells up, and these tracks have the wires going by, and each one of these little boxes here must be, where the electricity goes from the cell into the system. And it starts off with number 1 here, and they count all the way down. I've got 20 here, and 20 counts down. And if you look at the end of the track, you're going to see this kind of wire mesh. This is squirrel and varmint mesh to make sure that things don't go under the solar panels and make a nest and make a mess, chew on the wires, that sort of thing. And I guess the solar panels themselves are a few inches above the roof to allow for cooling so that the solar panels don't get too hot. And over here, they're still completing this one. They haven't put the squirrel cage around this section yet. But this section has cells going up to 31. We're going to have 31 solar panels on this roof. And this little box here goes into the attic, where they actually had to cut a hole in the roof and tuck this little box under the shingles, and this is where the actual feed goes into the attic into a conduit and goes up to the inverter, which is going to be on the side of the house. So there's the whole run. So here the panels are installed. They look great. We've got 31 panels going around the chimney to the other side. They spaced them 3 feet off the gutter, so I could walk around them and have gutter access for cleaning my gutters and that sort of stuff. I see they're made by LG. And each panel is held to the rail by just a little bracket with a bolt. So I think they can pretty easily be taken up if need be. Here we have the conduit from the solar panels coming down from the attic to the inverter. This converts the DC current to AC current. It monitors the line current coming in from the power company, and it matches the sine waves so that it's in sync, so that the house can run seamlessly on both the line current and the solar current. So the inverter has its own meter here, so we can see that since it's been installed, it's produced 142 kilowatt hours, and it has a conduit that goes down into the hole in the house there, which goes into our panel box, and it back feeds through a breaker in the panel box. And then from the panel box, when the solar system is creating more power than we're consuming, that extra power goes through the regular meter and up through the power lines and to the grid, and that way the neighborhood or whoever else is on the grid can consume some of that energy. So this meter is called a net meter. It can go forward and backwards depending on if current is coming from the street to the house or whether current is coming via the solar panels from the house back to the street. So when they installed this, it was a brand new meter, so it was around 0, and every day, at night, it'll go above 0, like to 18 or something, depending on our usage, and then during a day of charge, it'll actually go below 0, and right now it's at 99982. So that means that since the solar panels have been installed, we have produced more power than we've consumed. Now, as winter comes and we get less solar, if the sun is lower in the sky and we have less solar energy creation, then we will end up using more power overall. We have the system size to produce about 75% of our power on a year average. when the inverter is doing its thing, there's a little menu here you can scroll through. So we can see the line voltage, voltage AC, the voltage DC, or what the panels are creating, and then the power in watts right now. So we're currently 4,400 watts of power. That's pretty good. And then POK is the solar panel status, and then SOK is, I don't know what that is. And we can scroll through. We can look at the hertz, the frequency of the sine wave, the temp of the panels. We can see how many kilowatts per day and per month per year in total. Information about the inverter here. More information about it. It's connected to the network. It has an IP address. It is not connected through Wi-Fi. It has a wired connection. And because the inverter is on the internet, I have an app on my phone where I can see the real-time production of our power. I can look at weekly metrics, things like that, and can take screenshots and share with people. But it's a pretty cool feature. Go through each day of production.